The purpose of the agency is to assist the 17 Pacific Island governments that are its members in the areas of fisheries management, development, and the monitoring, control, and surveillance activities to do with their oceanic fisheries. The Pacific has been working collectively very successfully in cooperation in all of those areas since going back to the early 80s, 1982 or so. And so we've developed systems, for example, in the monitoring, control, and surveillance, or MCS. We've developed systems of vessel monitoring systems, the regional vessel register of fishing vessels, highly refined cooperation between the countries in the MCS activities. And these have been developed since the early 80s, as I've said. We continue to improve them. And I think this is one of the areas where the Pacific could certainly teach and be happy to show others from around the world what can be done in this collective cooperative manner. Our main challenges come down to national capacity. These are very small islands with very small governments and administrations. The fishing access revenues that are earned are a large part of the government revenue, so don't always go back to the fishery sector. So capacity building and strengthening of national fisheries administrations are very important. Our capability to comply with complex international requirements and procedures is often a challenge. Including market access issues. And so these are areas where we continue to need assistance, both in terms of the rest of the world understanding that too much complexity is a serious burden for the small island developing states, but also assisting us in terms of meeting the technical requirements required under these new arrangements. Well, it's important for health and life, obviously. And in the Pacific, we have a real irony, because while we are surrounded by the sea and generally you can get access to coastal reef resources, traditionally our people haven't consumed much of the oceanic tuna, so we're trying to teach them to consume more as a protein source. Because one of the problems with modernization is that even in small island countries we have very high incidence of non-communicable disease, diabetes, etc., as people's diet has changed more to beef and away from some of the traditional fish products that we have had. And I think we are now taking steps across the region to make our people more aware that we need to eat more fish, eat more of our traditional food crops, etc., in order to avoid the non-communicable diseases that have become a real problem for us in the region. And this includes, poor nutrition, basically, from other food items. So it's very important. It's almost at epidemic proportions in the Pacific. And fisheries, we do look forward to fisheries playing a leading role. One of the problems is that around urban areas, you've had a reduction of catches of local reef resources. You have destruction of reefs from ground-based pollution, shore-based pollution. And of course, you have the effects of climate change and ocean acidification. So we are having to find ways in which to encourage our people to use ocean resources, tuna in particular, to replace what they've been used to eating with reef fish resources. We need support in finding ways to improve the productivity of our coastal fisheries resources. So these natural ladders can continue to play the role they've always had for our people. But these are some of the big challenges facing us. Again, small island, everything closely congested, if you like, and so some of these impacts have been quite significant on local food supply. We discussed that. We discussed, of course, the importance of food nutrition, the importance of oceans, the desire to see oceans treated as a separate sector under the new Sustainable Development Goals. We discuss where the region is in terms of our MCS operations and how we might be able to assist other countries and other regions around the world to adopt similar arrangements amongst themselves. And we talked about a closer re-engagement between FAO and the Foreign Fisheries Agency in the Pacific, which I think will augur well for the future. It's been a bit quiet for some time, and I think with this Director General, I'm very confident that we'll have much higher visibility and a much higher level of engagement with the FAO, and I'm really looking forward to that.